much, Mistress of Ceremonies. Good morning, everyone. Protocol was established, but I'd like to modify it a little bit. I'd like to recognize the senators again. Senator Sanis, the majority leader, serving his fourth term, and the freshman senator, Senator Neville Francis Jr. Any other senators here? I don't want to miss anybody. I definitely want to recognize the committee chairman on Health, Hospital, and Human Services, Senator Kirk, BLA, for the wonderful job in his first term as a senator. And I definitely want to recognize your namesake, narrator, because we have a narrator in the legislature as well. Senator O'Reilly, of course, you know there was some controversy surrounding this endeavor during the 2014 calendar and election cycle. However, that ship has sailed, and the simulation center will happen on St. Croix. I definitely also want to recognize my good friend, Mr. Dave Johnson. He is the owner of K&B Partners, and he is a big community contributor, and I'm assuming that he is interested in making a contribution to this event.
I've already, and we'll make more.
So a round of applause for that type of philanthropy. I definitely want to recognize two young people who have ascended into leadership positions. Of course, many of you know that I brag about going to a now defunct St. Dunstan's Episcopal School, and I graduated in 1982, and Dr. Sachs recognized a board member, Dr. Dante Gallabir, but I'm going to be the one to tell you that he was a valedictorian of our class of 20. So Dr. Gallabir, you're still as handsome as you were back in the day. Another big shot in the MAP administration, who didn't graduate from St. Dunstan's, but she went to St. Dunstan's with us when we were year high. I want for the Assistant Commissioner of Education to stand up. Ms. Charmaine Hobson Johnson, please stand up. And be recognized because, in effect, we could talk simulation center, but this is about education, correct? Yes. Correct? Yes. Thank you. Give me no respect. I want to go in the wrong place. 9 days after we swore in the 31st legislature, 4 of us were invited by the president and his team to fly up to Tampa to see the simulation center that they're using as the model for the facility that we constructed here. That included Senator BLA, Senator Francis, and Senator Rivera O'Reilly. And I don't like to speak for people, but I think it's safe to say that we were blown away at what we saw there, and we knew then that even if we believe in our hearts that we got the short end of the stick with respect to the medical school and the simulation center, that in effect there is no short end, because the simulation center will not only provide an educational aspect, but also an economic aspect. And given what we're dealing with here on St. Croix, long ago we used to be very picky with respect to what we want. Unfortunately, our economic terrain doesn't allow for us to be as picky, if picky at all. This initiative is real, it's necessary, it will make for a better Virgin Islands, and definitely for a better St. Croix. Having said that, you've heard the President, Mr. President, because I don't really say that often, I like to say that to you today, Mr. President. Our commitment is unquestioned, and we believe that one of the problems over the years with respect to the Virgin Islands and St. Croix is our lack of redevelopment and reinvestment when in fact capital is available to us. And I just leaned over and spoke to Dr. Simon Jones Hendrickson, Sonny Jim from Sandy Point, as I like to call him. And I told him, we got a little windfall, maybe we could set aside something to help this endeavor. I definitely want to recognize the foundation. Mr. Chewning represented the foundation on St. Thomas yesterday. Mr. Hopper, that's your pronounce name? Hopper, we appreciate what the foundation is about. Of course, we're going through a little controversy ourselves because it appears that making money is available for nonprofits is a problem here in the Virgin Islands for some. But the reality is, without contributions, donors, and boosters, a lot of the projects and facilities that you see throughout the world would not have been if those who had the means didn't step up and make that commitment on behalf of institutions like the University of Virgin Islands, this land grant institute. I also want to say that with respect to the controversy in 2014, the idea of constructing a medical school isn't just about building a building and asking people to come in. You need the support systems to include the hospitals and the health center, the university itself. And at the time, our support system here on St. Croix was not where we wanted it to be. In reality, we had to make a legitimate decision. So we're glad that that was then, and this is now. And the simulation center is going to work to our benefit. I know Mr. John Abramson, my good friend, who is the president of the board for the Frederickson Health Center, along with Mr. Molio Smith, I believe that's your counterpart in St. Thomas. We're going to make sure that the support systems are in place to allow for the medical school in St. Thomas and the simulation center here on St. Croix to work. And of course, Ms. Washington, you actually stole my part of my remarks, because it is true. When the president spoke about faith, I was sitting there and I was saying, but this is March and this place is so hot, something wrong. And then God, in His greatness, allowed for a little shower to cool us off, and now we're feeling good. And so I feel good about this endeavor, and I feel good about the direction of the university. And rest assured that the 31st legislature is committed behind this project. And feel free, Mr. President, and Ms. Washington, and Dr. Sachs. I know you're a little upset because of what happened with accreditation, but like we say locally, that done gone. Now we're going to move forward. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again.